Welcome back for our Divine Partnership Premier update. Yes, we do have super chats. They usually are on the main page. You can click on the link and it will give you a notification when we're coming live. One day a month, we do come live to the members alone. If you do want to be part of that, you can join our YouTube membership, which we do have a video that shows all the benefits that come with our direct connection. Okay, let's have a look at the joint connection this week in the mix. Yes, sometimes we can be ahead or we can be behind, depending on where we are spiritually. So make sure to look at the previous week to see if such is playing out for you and if the energy is a little bit lagging, because energy is fluid. Now, we do have the what I'm seeing coming through here. Let's look at the crowning energy. This can be a time at the moment where values are changing. This can be where both parties here in the mix, it could be to do with love. This could be, in general, I'm feeling it's values. And again, these revelations that we're going to be having this week can be quite profound. More than likely, because whenever I see the psychic card, especially because I did study astrology for our ascension process, with both Neptune and Saturn going retrograde this month, we're already getting that shadow moving into the retrograde from both the 17th and the 30th, I believe. A lot of psychic downloads are going to come, but there's going to also be a lot of distortion, disillusionment, redirecting. But the bonus of it's going to be is there is a redirection of our value systems to get success out of our twin flame path and our life where we are individually. I do feel in the mix, both parties here are really reviewing their values. They're looking at life and they're saying to themselves, okay, is it a concern of money? Is it a concern of self-worth? But really looking at the course that you set in your life, wherever you stand, and how to redirect it. And I really do think that this is a time of restructuring, especially with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. There can be a lot of caution, I do feel, apprehensiveness, feeling, okay, am I making the right decision? Am I looking at this in the correct way? And I do feel already I'm getting a lot of frequency coming from Divine Feminine. I do feel Divine Feminine is going through a massive change, but I also feel simultaneously Divine Masculine is tuning in very heavily into Divine Feminine, and it's actually pulling the energy up where both parties in the mix here are having a transformation. Now, yes, I do read for the collective. So there could be in between this, and it always resonates, especially with those that already are in communication and union, as well as those that are in separation. We continue to have ascension. It differs. However, we do get, portals where it's almost like there's roadblocks and it's like, right, you need to bounce down to the 3D and get things done. And then it's you'll get these doors blocked again. It's like, right, you need to connect to spirit. You need to connect to source. So we just get better at doing those things, but we still have those roadblocks. Now, what I'm seeing here is there is something from the past where you're trying to recorrect it. I do feel, you're much wiser than you were in the past. A lot of you have evolved quite a bit. And, you're frustrated. A lot of you in the mix of this joint connection, you probably would have done things differently. But at this point in time, you're really going into the heart space. And in this joint connection between you, there is both parties do regret behavioral patterns, the ways things went. Divine Masculine definitely is looking back and feeling, gee, if they only knew what they knew now, they would have done things differently. But they do feel, regardless, that there is something that they do have to do, that regardless of what we know, knowing better now, there are some circumstances that need addressing. These could be costly mistakes on a financial level. These could be emotional. But I definitely think when they are tuning into Divine Feminine, they do feel they do need to address some things. And I do feel many are wanting to address patterns, but they do feel inevitably they're going to be communicating with you, especially for those of you that aren't in communication. Old patterns simply aren't going to work for Divine Feminine, and I feel Divine Masculine knows this. They're not vibing at that level, so it's almost like It's like divine feminine has been in training, so being able to spot a liar, being able to spot something that isn't valuable to them, and knowing well, knowing patterns well. I do feel there's a strictness. There also could be a circumstance around family at the moment. This could be where the person lives, this could be a circumstance, and I do feel for some, it's on one side or the other. For some of you, it can be happening on both sides, where there is an individual situation relating to your home, your physical environment, family and tribe. This could be mother, father energy, or it directly could be your own children. But there is something in the mix relating to family here. I feel whatever, it's almost like these conundrums are coming back from the past. It is causing anxiousness. Divine feminine is coming through as a first warrior. I do feel she's very determined to succeed in the mix of this, and she does have more power than she actually thinks. So if any, I can't say it's white lies, especially for those of you in communication. There potentially could be some sense of a map that they're painting, some attitude they're bringing. Divine feminine is trying to stay centered in the eye of the storm, which is her direct power. And masculine does directly look at divine feminine as quite powerful. Oh, this sounds so, it's probably because of the transits coming. A divine feminine is feeling, if you snooze, you lose, you will regret losing me. But separately, what I am getting is you're wise now. So behavioral patterns, stories, belief systems, those things aren't manipulating you anymore. And it's not necessarily that this was the intent of divine masculine or the circumstance playing it. It's merely your viewpoint at this point in time. Many of you could be observing your twin being quite stuck. And spiritually, once you see the cards of the divine masculine, you may see that to a degree. But I definitely see for you, you definitely are looking at this going, what's this pattern? Why is this continuing to happen? What is this blockage coming up with this person? And it does feel psychological. It definitely feels psychological. I do feel divine feminine here in the mix pausing, really closely observing the story that has played out between both parties. Especially those of you that have had absolutely no communication, I really do feel you're wondering, how long before the egg breaks? Some of you could have been getting a lot of psychic downloads, headaches, third eye activation, and heart chakra. I'm hearing the term breath work. They're making reference to you are ascending. Your Kundalini may be reactivated at this point. There could be a very large scale upgrade that you're going through. I do feel you need to psychically protect yourself and to be aware of where energy is coming from. I do feel divine masculine is feeling very guilty. This can be towards their past, how things went, how they directly have impacted this connection. Some of them are feeling quite psychologically stuck. They're very unhappy with the status quo of how things are. And I do feel that, you really can't lie to each other because it's such a sensory connection that both parties here in the mix are always going to pull apart. They're always going to pick up on a porcupine. So there's no ability to lie in the mix of this. So I do feel for a long time, divine feminine has wondered if there is going to be white lies within this connection, if there's going to be deceit again. And I think it's more to do with the fact that you've outgrown that. Anyone directly can do that, but your intuition is always going to guide you. There is a difference between babysitting a partner and requiring integrity. Definitely I do feel in the next 2 months it's going to be quite aggressive and assertive. And I do feel divine feminine here is like knowing ultimately their inner truth. And sometimes we do face our shadow and we do have these things coming up. Maybe everything was a lie. Maybe there was no spiritual connection. I feel divine feminine is moving forward with some plans. Those of you that have been in communication, you might have been seeing two kind of vibrations coming through with divine masculine. 1 minute it's very quiet and pulled back and maybe agitated. The next minute it's very grounded, very friendship orientated. So divine feminine could be getting a few cross wires here. It's almost like, okay, what am I looking at this? Is there a possibility this person is going through a transformation? They are coming through differently. Definitely, if you're tuning into them from the 5D, there's definitely a shift happening with divine masculine. I really strongly feel they're thinking about you, regardless of where you stand in your journey. They do want to recreate with you. This could be quite a co-creative time. For some of you, there might have been a concert or something to that degree that you were at a time. There's memories they're showing me here. This could have been you standing across from them in the crowd and they saw you, but that they're definitely making reference to a memory that they have with you and they're going back to it. I feel they can't kind of hide it from you when they're unhappy. They find it very difficult. They're trying to maintain the status quo. They're also making reference to July as a warning time for all. They already have the signature that if they don't I'm not feeling it's like an ultimatum, but I do feel divine feminine has very strongly discovered what they do and don't want in life, where they are going. And there is this huge movement with divine feminine at the moment that is evolving and changing, and coming back to themselves, coming back to who they really are, and getting some things done. This can be anything down to maybe job transitions, caring for the body, caring for their soul, guided meditation, definitely with some solid plans in their life of who they do and don't want in their life, circling themselves with friends and peers and co-workers. I feel there is this huge transformation that has happened with divine feminine. And I definitely feel this is coming through on the 5D for divine masculine because they are moving and shaking. They're moving forward and they want things to be different. And they have their yeses and they have their no's. And I think divine masculine is picking up on this, that if this pattern continues, they will in fact need to catch up theoretically because there are, and the no doesn't mean the person isn't directly loved. The no means that you do know who you are and you know what sits correct for you. And it's not that you're directly requiring this person like an ultimatum to be everything you need them to be. It's more that there are some things you simply won't do. And I feel there could be some disillusionment moving into our mid-month. It can continue in, but it is there for a direct reason. And I'm looking at Divine Feminine's cards here in the mix, and they're calling me to come over to Divine Feminine. This separation has caused angst. It has been on your mind. Some of you have even felt, for some of you, yes, you could have felt jealous. You could have felt insecure. But really, I feel, don't ever think that the karmic is having a good time, okay? Because there's nobody like you, Divine Feminine. You're a different person. You never needed to be like the karmic. It is quite a compliment that they tend to do more for other people. Why? Is because there's codependency and because you're empress. You are the Queen of Swords. You're an ascended individual with clarity and good judgment. So you're not requiring that. You're really, especially for those of us that have been on the journey for a while, you might have had a child, you might have been married. You are in a different state in your life. So it's about that companionship and friendship and spiritual connection. It's not just about the tried and true, the tradition, or the manipulation at hand with these connections. Um, I do feel you're like, why can't I just be normal? You know, for some of you, it can be you saying, why can't I just be normal, have a connection, have things flow? There has been a lot of challenges over the last few years, ups and downs. I do particularly feel in the last few months, a lot of individuals have had a lot of ascension. Spiritually, some of you also could be saying to yourself, am I, you know, where is this cobweb in my mind? Where is you know, is this a psychological belief that it will never be? Am I dreaming up things? Your mind at the moment can be your mental prison. And I go back to the crowning energy, see if I can navigate through this. The crowning energy, which was the Queen of Cups. We go back to divine feminine's energy. And, you know, with this separation frequency and this feeling of, you know, being cheated, being betrayed. Why can't I have my, you know, why is it always something, you know, really? And a lot of twins do feel that in the path when they're moving through it, is why is there always something else? I feel psychologically you're leaving these things in the past. You're like, right, this isn't serving me. Potentially you've tuned into a particular narrative over and over again. And I feel divine feminine is moving away from that deep dive of shadow work and they're coming back into the 3D. And I feel you directly are making a solid plan in your life. You're going into your heart space and you're going to take your time. You're not going to, and I think really this is the advice for you. Stop putting pressure on yourself. Come from the here and now and say, okay, let's put this down to bite-sized pieces. Let's do things the tried and true. Let's do this in a more traditional sense. You know, chivalry is not dead. Let me put it that way. So, you know, coming back to that temperance frequency, doing things in moderation. A lot of you, I feel you're trying to care for your body. You're trying to care for your mind and your soul. You're also knowing your limits and you're listening more. But I do feel the way in which you're going to manage this situation is going to be very different to how you have dealt with it before. I am seeing that those of you that are directly in communication with your twin, again, I'm feeling that there is going to be a change within you, a change in the way you are handling this circumstance. If you've been patient, empathetic, understanding, I still feel you're coming back to, and your soul will always scream at you in this dynamic until you address it differently. And I feel it's because you know, some of you maybe have pushed it down, you've kept it in your head, it's caused headaches. I do feel you get things, you understand it. Just having a coughing fit. Sorry. But I do see that in your mind, you do have a lot to say. I don't feel that, I don't know why I'm hearing the song. It's tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. And I don't think this person intentionally is telling you a lie. They're biding time, right? I also feel you directly may be doing such, and there could be this notion in your mind that because you do have the tools, because you have done work on yourself, you've been or maybe walked a mile in this person's shoes. You know that things and healing take time. So there can be some empathy that's coming through. Some of you are worried you're going to hear something and it's not going to be to your liking. This could be gossip, this could be information, this could be this person popping up because we'll have Venus retrograde. You definitely wanting to play your cards right so you win the race. You're trying to connect into source. You're trying to have faith in your guides, especially as doors close and doors open. Some of you can start getting some synchronistic messages again. There are points in the journey where it's just every day, it's every second, and then it can stop. Don't ever get scared if it stops. It means you are the crystal, and it generally means that you have come to a place where you have connected both to, your higher energy. You're in alignment theoretically, okay? So when it stops, you're already been, instead of asking Gaia for help and then ignoring the steps that you need to take, you're actually asking it, seeking it, and seeing the power within yourself. So you're in a lot more alignment than most. And the numbers and the synchronicities will slow down. They then do pipe back up again, and you're quite content and detached by it. And this is where you directly can have a lot of movement in your twin flame path. Okay, sacral chakra energy is going to be spiking. Look, some of you are wondering if this was a fling, and again, they're saying no, it's not. This is a connection with a lot of chemistry, and I feel the biggest problem is some of you maybe that are saying to yourself, okay, is this ever going to be? Do I wait? What if somebody else comes into my life? I'm going back to the Temperance card, and I had a coaching session with many people this week, and that was one of the systems that I was using for the coaching was a lot of times we get worried that we're going to open up another door, we're going to end up having to have a tower, and life is going to be pulled down, and then twin flames coming back in. We can go into these circumstances differently, and this is with temperance. This is like no promises. Go out for a coffee, enjoy a person's company, do things in the old tried and true way so that you are being completely transparent and you're really taking your time. And if spiritually it feels it's in alignment for you, go from there. I do feel many divine feminines are feeling at times that they're quite ready for a relationship, but what nags them in the back of their mind is the personal experience they've had, is that no sooner do they go into the circumstance, there is the shift. There's a lot of investment within the spiritual connection, and, it has both pained you and given you a lot of depth. I do feel there's a lot of chemistry between the both of you, and there is a movement, and I do feel it's going to happen quite quickly, but I do feel divine feminine here in the mix and a T section on the road. Now, what I'm seeing from divine masculine's cards is there is psychologically, they do feel in their own selves that there are some instabilities they're currently dealing with. Now, that can be within their own personal life or within their aura, where they have felt quite out of sync and out of sync, so to speak. I do feel that, like I mentioned back to the main read, there's a lot of regret relating to the past, a lot of regret in the mix of a karmic path, of individuals they've met. Some of them have been, to a degree, enabling circumstances, and they're realizing this physical pattern. Especially if it's not really resonating with them. I think, whatever they've moved back to, they also feel that they've had to have the strength to even deal with toxicity to any degree. Some of them are being way too strict, even though they know deep down in themselves that circumstances and the way in which they have been handling these things it's not sustainable. So it is causing conflict. It's causing mood swings. It's causing, deterioration of their bodies, a breaking down, and sometimes we think we're invincible. I do feel divine masculine here does know that in the past, be it was a past tense individual they dealt with, they do feel it really did take a toll on them. And, this had nagged on, lingered on. Some of them, this can be in relationship to a past individual. Maybe they had children with, maybe they had a connection or a family with. And I do feel they know something's going to come back up. They also do not trust this person. This person can be at the best of times quite what would the word be? Flighty, unstable, direct, aggressive. Some of the words they've shown me. I feel in kind of dealing with things, if this is a twin that has directly already separated, they know it's psychological. They know that that did cause a lot of instability in their lives. There still could have been squabbles over finances, etc. This could have been of wealth and health. And they do feel that they have been pulled in two directions. They definitely feel, because of trying to appease and make everyone happy, that it has caused issues on them. They know that it's going to come crashing down, but they also they're not looking at this person as a romantic partner. This could be age related. This could be, again, and definitely it's not a romantic connection. Not anymore, anyway. For some, like I said, this could be a family related dynamic. There is a feminine energy here. Yeah, they're wondering what to do. They're wondering, there's regrets of the past. They're wondering what to do. They don't feel people are working with them. There's just stress on stress. But they do feel, in the heart of it, they do have to make a decision. They can't make everyone happy. Some of them could be leaving jobs. Some of them could be leaving a role behind. Some of them are tapping back into, is this my destiny? Is this what my soul actually is calling? They're feeling very, very unmotivated. They definitely have attracted in partnerships people that were quite promiscuous in nature. They're also making reference to, how do we put this with it? Being tactful. Let's pull a clarifier. Trusting the wrong people, seeing them incorrectly. At times, divine masculine has accused divine feminine of maybe betraying them, or maybe being like the others, feeling as though you would leave them. Maybe that you had another person, and I do feel, especially those that have had a lot of people betray them, they did directly feel when they met you, you were too good to be true. They didn't feel they deserved you. And they can't, many of them can't actually believe that you are still, sitting there patient. Or they've never had anyone do that. They've never had anyone, be in love with them, not receive anything, and still have that love there. They're quite baffled by it. They also do feel, that they do want to spend the remainder of their life with you. There is concerns of money. They have learnt such karmic lessons around money and values. And although they may hear from you that, time is precious, it will work out, they also have learned a different lesson, which is to do with money and value and the essentials. And it's more the essentials. It's not the gold digger energy. It's divine feminine here, especially from the crowding energy, could really be looking at divine masculine, and be saying, look, not everything is money, but divine masculine does have an understanding here of the reason why this circumstance is quite important. And I do think, whatever this is that they're aware of, their deepest concern is the fact that it will directly impact the foundation. They have been naive in the past to do with such. People have taken from them. They're good um, yeah, that this is a lot to do with blockages. This is pulled left and right. This is people pulling them left and right. They do know that they are the ones in the power seat, but they're trying to make everyone happy in the mix. Okay, what is the advice to divine masculine here? I do feel there's a karmic lesson here for divine masculine. Yeah, it's pushing them to I do feel because of the way divine feminine is reacting to divine masculine, it's actually aiding them to actually realize that this old path that they had going on, that it's not for you to clean up, it's not for you to um yeah, you can empathize, but ultimately this person is trying to split themselves in between two worlds. Spiritually, I feel, especially if this person is already separated, there's a great deal of healing, and it's really challenging them to move into their heart chakra, to heal their heart chakra so they can be open. They are obsessively thinking about you a lot this week. I do feel there can be an ultimatum for some that are receiving such, and I also feel there could be a tower moment for the karmic third party. Come through and listen to the karmic updates as we do cover them weekly. I am seeing there is a passion that's going to come to a head. And I do particularly feel with this outcome card, there is this risk divine masculine feels they are going to lose you and they're adhering to your demands. Love and light. I will see you soon. Spiritually, your guides are working with them on the 5G. The SOS has been sent.